Joining us now is Jeremy Peters, who is covering Dominion Voting Machines lawsuit against Fox News for the New York Times. Jeremy, thank you for being with me tonight as we unpack what is, and there's been quite a bit of coverage of this brief and the contents therein, but every time I read a new quote, even the ones I've heard before, it is explosive what we have learned here. Can you talk to me a little bit about the defense that Fox News is mounting in the face of all this information?
Well, Fox will try to say that this is all protected speech under the First Amendment. But, Alex, as you've seen in everything that we've heard dribble out over the last few days, this is anything but standard journalism. And what Dominion is arguing is that, in fact, it is proof that Fox knew that what they were putting on the air was false, and they did it anyway for the sake of profitability and ratings. And if you look at actually what was said on the air in those days, and you look at what was happening to Fox's ratings, that's actually very provable and very easy a case to present to a jury. You have Fox at one point telling the truth, getting out ahead of the rest of the news organizations in the country, saying Biden is going to win. Then Fox's audience revolted, saying, no, Donald Trump actually won this. And you have these extraordinary email and text exchanges from behind the scenes among Fox executives and hosts saying, whoa, our readership, our viewership is revolting. They're leaving us. They're going to Newsmax. They are destroying our brand. The CEO of Fox News herself says, we are going to reset. This is a new day from day one. And from then on, it is a cascade of these fraudulent false claims of fraud that Dominion machines are somehow at the center of this non-existent conspiracy to steal the election from Donald Trump. And from the legal excerpts that I've spoken to, they say that they have rarely seen a case that is this easy to prove, that has this substantial a log of evidence that proves that what the defendant knew at the time shows that they were lying.
Jeremy, I'll read Fox's statement in the wake of all of this. There will be lots of noise and confusion generated by Dominion and their opportunistic private equity owners, but the core of this case remains about freedom of the press and freedom of speech, which are fundamental rights afforded by the Constitution and protected by New York Times v. Sullivan. It seems to me that this wasn't about freedom of the press and freedom of speech. This was about giving a platform to a group of conspiracy theorists who literally said they're receiving some of this information from the wind, right? This was not news. This was language that was intended to stoke the interest and the rage of the Trump base. I wonder if you agree with our thesis that, Fox's problems are inherently the GOP's problems, which is they are all just paralyzed by this existential fear that Trump and his supporters will ditch their support for either the party or the outlet.
Fox is afraid of its audience just like Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party are afraid of their voters. They don't fully understand these people, and they feel the need to give them what they think that they want. And occasionally they've misjudged that. And Trump has misjudged it himself from time to time, but ultimately he has a much better finger on the pulse of the voters than any establishment Republican figure or any producer at Fox News does. And this is why they reacted with such an about face after giving the audience what was initially good journalism.
Right.
Fox was the first to report that, let's not lose that as a fact of what happened here. Like, Fox was the first to report, and they were correct. And, a lot of mainstream publications pilloried them and said, no, they got out way too ahead of the curve here. Arizona is too early to call. Well, they were right. And then Fox backed away from that. Once they saw the backlash from their audience, they said, you know what? We are going to actually tell our audience something that we know not to be true. Tucker Carlson knew this not to be true. Laura Ingraham knew this not to be true. Sean Hannity, as he told Suzanne Scott, the CEO of Fox News, knew that Joe Biden had been legitimately elected. The president, and to your point about that, the wind, I don't think that should go lost on your audience. The evidence that Sidney Powell had, that she presented to Fox News producers and hosts, was an email from a woman who was delusional, who said she could hear the wind speaking to her and that she had been killed in a prior life. They had this in their hands, and they put Sidney Powell on the air anyway as a woman who was the voice of the Trump administration, saying that this is why she believed the election had been stolen through Dominion machines. That's all in this case. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's not forget, there's a lot that we don't know, Alex.
Yeah.
There's a lot in this complaint that has been redacted that we still cannot see. If you were to look at it, there are paragraphs and pages that are blacked out that we will eventually see what's behind those. And from what I'm told, what's there is even more explosive than what we've already seen.
Just to make, for people who haven't read the brief yet, Powell's source explained she gets her information from experiencing something like time travel in a semi-conscious state, allowing her to see what others don't see and hear what others don't hear, and she received messages from the wind. That is the source that Sidney Powell went on Fox News and gave credence to, as she said there was fraud in the 2020 election. That's what we're talking about here. Jeremy Peters, thank you for your time in reporting.